Hello everyone, I'm going to show you my 5-story elevator that I built using RedPower and Better Than Wolves. So, first off I'll show you the functionality of it, and then after that I will show you behind the scenes, all the wiring, and how I did everything. So, let's check it out. Alright, we've just got a 2x6 elevator platform and a long rope going up to the pulley, so let's just go to the 3rd floor. And I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to wait, because it takes quite a while. Alright, here we are, 3rd floor. As you can see, I've got my indicator set up. We've got the 3rd floor indicator, and this also works for every other floor. So if you end up on the 1st floor and your elevator, for whatever reason, is on the 3rd floor, it lets you know, and you got an elevator call button. There it is, and you saw the sliding doors in action. Alright, now this elevator works from any floor to any other floor. So you can go to 1st floor to 4th floor, as you can probably tell by my button setup. So let's take her to the top. Once again, I'll speed this up. And here we are. Would you look at that view? It's pretty dull. You can see the indicator still works as you would expect it to, and sliding doors, blah blah blah. Got the call elevator button up here as well. Alright, one more little trip and I'll speed this one up quite a bit, so just to show that I can go to any floor. So 2nd floor. Once again, here we are at the 2nd floor. Alright, now I'm going to cut and show you the wiring. Alright, well, here it is. It's got several different systems that I'm going to cover individually, and I'll start with the ones that make most sense chronologically, I suppose. So let's start with the braking system. So how does this work? We've got a signal, which I'll show you where it comes from in a minute. It leads up to a redstone wire or whatever and goes to a pulley, the pulley that controls the whole elevator. Now, as you may know, when it's powered, that means it can't go up or down, so it's basically a brake. So where is that signal coming from? So let's trace this black wire. It goes into our bundled cable. Here it is. So as you can see, it's going to connect to the detector block, which is what that is, or the block detector, however you want to say it, and it's going to pull a signal from that if the block detector is detecting something in front of it. As you can see, it's currently detecting something, but it's not from this floor. It's going to be down here on the 2nd floor. Now, since that's detecting something, it can't move, so it sends that signal through the bundled cable all the way over here up to the pulley, which breaks. Okay, now on to the floor selection system. The way this works is with each floor having an RS NOR latch controlling a piston, which, as you saw earlier with the brake, connected to a detector block detecting the elevator. So when you push any of these buttons, it's going to tell each floor whether or not the piston should be engaged or disengaged. In other words, which floors should brake and which floors should allow elevator passage. So we're here on the 2nd floor, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our elevator to the 5th floor. But before we're going to do that, I'm going to show you what's going to happen when I push that button. So as you can see, I've got the button diagram laid out back here so I knew how to program it. So when I push the fifth floor button, sends this into, as you may have already determined, a brown insulated wire, and that's going to send it into a yellow bundled cable. So let's trace that. We're going to go left, that takes it left, and we're going to go down. I've got that hidden with some panels. And here's our brown cable. So brown signal goes out here into a repeater, and it gets transformed into one signal. So when I push that button, this whole thing is going to light up, and what that does is cuts this off because this is an RS NOR, so that pulls it. And that's just the basic brake disengage, I would say. And that's going to allow the elevator to go up or down after you push the button. So instead of going a random direction, we've also got the brown cable telling us whether to go up or down, and that's done like this. We take the inputs from each floor, which I've designated right here, and transform them into an up or down signal, which is either red for up, gray for down. So since we're brown, going to the 5th floor, taking her up. So let's follow that up. Alright, here's the convergence point. You can either go gray or red, and then it's going to hit that. If this was activated, this would be deactivated, giving us mechanical power and lifting the elevator quite effectively. Now, what's stopping us from stopping on another floor while we're getting there? Well, that's where these RS NORs come into play again, but the way I've got it set up for the 5th floor, nothing really has to happen. As you can see, all of these pistons are disengaged. But just to make sure, let's show you what happens. Let's go left again. Now we've already been down, and all that does is disengage the brake. So let's follow our yellow cable. Bam. Here's a brown signal. That's going into the pink one, which I take it over here just because I ran out of room. And this is the 4th floor. So if I was to push that, this would be activated, and this would be activated, which it currently already is, obviously. Pulling this back, which makes sure the brake won't engage. It does the same thing down here. I just happened to pass it. Yep, there it is. I always miss that one. And so that clears those 2 floors of any stops. Works great. Now let's just see it in action, and I will show you as it happens what happens. Alright, so push the button. It sent the signal both ways, and you can see up here that it told it to go up, and you can see that it's kept that signal to make sure they're disengaged. And the most important thing here on the 2nd floor is it disengaged this one. So we're probably on the 5th floor by now. Well, I say that, this thing's really slow. So alright, there we are. Now since we're on the 5th floor, this is a mess. We got my rain detector over there, so I don't have to worry about the window. This side's a mess, this top part. I was really confused when I was making this part, but it works basically the same. We'll just start over here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to cut and take it to a different floor and show you from there. Alright, sorry, I've taken it to the 4th floor. The top floor is just a really confusing mess that's where I started, and I had all my systems confused, and I didn't really have a plan for this thing. But after I got that floor, I finalized with this design and copied it all the way down. So here we are, 4th floor, blah blah blah, brake engaged. So if we're going to go 1 floor down, as you probably already know, we're going to hit this light gray, take it into the baby blue, and that's the brake disengage. There we go, that would disengage the brake. And I'm just going to show you that it takes it down. So it's going into a gray signal over here. And then what else is that going to do? So follow it down. Well, here's a gray signal. That's going to engage this brake. Since we're going one floor down, the next floor down brake is engaged. Also, you'll notice that for whatever reason it's down here, but I think that's for something I'll get to later. And that's the basics of how it works, going up, down, and the braking system. Blah-de blah-de blah. After that, that takes us to the call elevator button system. And the basics of this is two signals, each one determining something in its own right. So we're just going to start with the gray signal, which probably looks a little bit familiar too. So let's follow this over here. Using a green bundled cable. And here we are, the gray signal. As you may have guessed, that determines up or down for the whole elevator. So since we're using a gray signal, that's going to end up here, which is down. Since it's activated, it's already going down. So if that wasn't activated, this would turn on in the event the button was pushed, and it would flow downward. Granted that the blue wire did its job. So the blue wire takes us into the same bundled cable and goes up. Now this one hits each one of the floors, and if you can guess what that does, disengages the brake. So here's the blue again, hits this, there it is, disengaged, each floor. Since I haven't pressed it, this is a good example. When I press this, signal would go here, switching that RS NOR, and there you go. You're flowing free. So that's the bottom floor, and the top floor is a little bit different. I could have used the same color of bundled cable, but I didn't do that because I did this in multiple play sessions, so I got kind of confused from time to time. Anyways, basically the same setup. Got a red wire which takes us up, and the white wire which is going to actually be transformed into, well, it could be used as a blue cable. That's what I'm trying to say, instead of using a whole nother repeater setup. But it does the same thing blue cable does, just to ensure that we're flowing freely. And yeah, I've got the red. The red comes out down here after it gets transformed into the lime green. There's the red. That's kind of confusing because I'm using two different colors, but whatever. Alright, next we're going to cover the light indicator system and the sliding door system. So we're going to start right here on the 4th floor, since that's where the elevator still is. And we're going to look at this block detector block, and see that it's got another signal coming off to the side. And that hits a green insulated cable, which goes up and around to the other side, and this side as well. So when that's receiving a signal, like it is, it's going to hit this NOT gate. So otherwise, if it was not receiving a signal, these would all be active, activating this repeater, which activates the two pistons, closing the door effectively. So just to reiterate, I've got it pulled through a white cable over here on the other side, and you can see it does the same thing, but on this side, since I had more room, we've got another NOT gate coming off this one, which makes like a double negative, I suppose, going into a blue signal, cutting through the gray and into the lime green bundled cable. Now this lime green cable isn't connected with any relevant colored wire from the up and down elevator call. So here's our blue signal. And what that's going to do is each one of these on each floor, it's got a little cutoff like that. So sends the blue signal to each floor. So there it is. You can see every floor has the blue signal activated, which leads to the same indicator light telling everybody that it's on the 4th floor. Now it works the same way with every other floor, albeit confusing. Like right here I've got a white cable cutting off. I didn't even use a double white gate here. I didn't use the double negative here, so it just goes right into it. And so white is 5, lime green is 3, blah de blah. And I'd had to do it weird down here for whatever reason. So you can see that purple cable goes to a detector that is only there to determine whether the doors should be open and whether the light should be on. And that's pretty much how the doors and indicator systems work. It's just a really big mess that I need to clean up. Alright, lastly, I'm going to show you one stipulation to using this style elevator. And when I say style, I mean this braking system that I've got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the 3rd floor and show you what happens if you stand in the wrong spot. As you can see, that one's disengaged. It's the 2nd floor. But if you're standing here, you're going to hit this block, the detector block, and you're going to stop early. But that's the only stipulation that this elevator has. Otherwise, it's pretty efficient and clean. Thanks for watching.